So let's take a look at our article here. They're in the sports store. Remember, we found out Lucy likes sports. She met Jerry at a gym, so they thought maybe they'd check out a tracksuit perhaps for her. And when they're in the sports store, they run into their trainer from the gym. Remember their trainer? He was in an earlier lesson. Now, when you run into someone, it means you just see them by accident. You didn't plan on meeting. You just run into them or meet them by chance. So there he is, and they say, hey. And that's what Jerry says, hey, look who it is. They recognize their trainer.
And they ask him, what are you doing here, trainer? Mr. Trainer, why are you here in the store? At the same time, we're here. What a coincidence. Well, the trainer says, well, I do have a name, you know. My name is Jimmy. It's Jimmy. You can call me Jimmy. You don't have to call me Mr. Trainer. And he says that he's just getting a Christmas present or a Christmas gift for his sister. So he might have waited till the last minute, too, to do some Christmas shopping for his sister. So they're kind of all in the same boat here.
Ah, see, they're all guys and they've waited until the last minute. Well, Jerry gives Jimmy a disapproving look. Oh, that's a good one. When you disapprove of someone, you're not very happy with what they've done. You think they've done something wrong or not very well, so you give them a look like, oh. Well, I can't believe Jerry's doing that. He did the same thing. He says, hey, today is Christmas Eve. Oh, Jerry, can you believe him? Well, he says you really shouldn't leave your shopping to the last minute like this. When you leave something to the last minute, it means you don't choose to do it at that time. You kind of leave it until later. Or maybe you leave it to someone else. Maybe you don't do part of your job and you leave and go home and someone else has to do it for you. You leave them to do your job. Actually, a lot of bosses will ask you to do part of their work. For example, maybe your boss asks you to type up a report. He leaves the report to you. So that means it's now your responsibility, not his. Well, he actually left his shopping to the last minute, meaning he waited until the very last night to go shopping.
Absolutely. And then Tom rolls his eyes and he shakes his head. Now, if you roll your eyes, that does not mean you take them out of your head and roll them like marbles on the floor. Ooh, you don't want to do that. But if you roll your eyes, you just kind of look up into the air and move around a little bit. It means you're kind of disappointed or disgusted by someone else's behavior or something they have said. Oh my goodness, I can't believe you actually said that. And so he rolls his eyes and he also shakes his head. He moves it from left to right. It's kind of like saying no, right? But he basically thinks, oh boy, this guy's not very smart, is he?
You can roll your eyes as well when someone tells a dumb joke that you think's kind of stupid or silly. Oh boy, like that. But you kind of roll your eyes and shake your head at the same time, you know? Well, that's how he feels about that. Tom can't believe his friend's giving Jimmy a hard time when he did the same thing himself. Jimmy goes, oh no, here comes my sister. Sounds like everyone's trying to hide from the girls, right? He says, pretend I'm not getting something for her. When you pretend, you act like something's true that's not, or that something's not true that is. So they're trying to pretend or maybe show that they're not doing anything that the girls think has to do with them.
Yeah, for example, sometimes I like to pretend to be a monster when I'm playing with the kids. I'm pretending. I'm not really a monster, but I'm acting like one. And here, Jimmy says, pretend I'm not getting something for her. So kind of act this way so she doesn't know what's going on. Tom says, "What? Where is she? Where
Yeah.
is your sister?" And Jerry says, "Oh, here she comes. She's already seen us. It's too late."
Uh-oh. Well, they didn't recognize who Jimmy's sister is. They don't know who she is. And then Tom looks and says, "Wait a minute. Does that mean Lucy is?" It sounds like Jimmy and Lucy are related.
Ooh,
And that's what Jimmy
wow.
says. "Do you guys know my sister?" And he tries to introduce Lucy to them, but of course, we know the boys already know Lucy, don't we?
That's right. So it's a coincidence. Lucy just happens to be Jerry's girlfriend, but she also just happens to be the trainer's sister. What a coincidence! Okay, everybody, we'll move on to Conversation D in just a couple of seconds. But first, we're going to listen to our Chinese teacher.